every single week as we wrap up our episodes, courtesy of our friends, our wonderful friends at the Dairy Queens of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park, we roll out the carpet and ask you to bring us your hottest takes. You bring the heat with real emails to talk at ryanjesperson.com. This is the Flamethrower, presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. This one from Tranquil Vibration. I like that. Says, I missed last Friday's Flamethrower, Jespo, so here's my take a week late. America sent a message with Donald Trump's win. Voters are done with these politically motivated changes and charges, and they're calling out the sideshow. This isn't just about Trump. It's a stand against speech control and a rejection of the left's grip on free expression. Liberals in Canada better pay attention because we're seeing the same overreach here. They rant about Trump being a threat to democracy while shifting the goalposts and calling it progress. And let's talk about why politicians need a bit of common sense, Johnny. He says, the fuckery we've put up with over the last 9 years, the left calling every one of their failed moves science, economics, or intellectual insight has been absolute rubbish. People are sick of being told what they can say, think, and feel, all under the guise of progress. Meanwhile, conservative platforms actually protect families. The left is out here destroying families. Oh boy. The path forward: respect freedom of speech, stop the hypocrisy, and recognize it's not the science we need. It's a return to common sense. That is from Tranquil Vibration. What about this one from Travis, who says, people continue to say that Kamala Harris was not qualified. She laughed too much. They didn't understand her positions, but it was all to justify the reasons for supporting Trump, which I just don't understand. He says, even if you think he has better policies, there are two strong reasons never to support him. Number one, he made fun of a disabled person. That's never okay. It's never funny. It's never justified. And number two, he's a rapist. Like, how much more do you need to twist your beliefs to support a rapist? The right-wing nutjobs continue to call the left pedophiles and groomers with zero proof, while their guy is a legit sexual offender. Multiple convictions, more accusations, probably more charges coming. But they don't think that she's ready? You can't look at him and think that this is a good stand-up person with strong morals. No both sides, no oh but her. Look at what he's done, look at what he's said, and look at what he's been convicted of. I can't fucking stand any of this, and I've steadily distanced myself from people that do. Travis says, thanks for the great show, Jespo. How about this one from Keith, who says, I've been a longtime NDP supporter, federally and provincially. Not federally anymore because of what Jagmeet has done to Jack Layton's party. Says, I would have voted for Hillary in 2016, Biden in 2020 if I was American, but this go around, I would have voted for Trump. Keith says, after witnessing how the Democrats rigged the nomination process in 2016 to favor Hillary over Bernie, to then seeing how they booted out Biden, replacing with a candidate that nobody had the chance to vote for in Kamala, the irony became clear to me that the Democratic Party is not the biggest fan of the democratic process. He says, touching on being the middle class, the average Joe party, the Harris campaign had zero effective messaging on how they were going to help people put food on the table. She never properly distanced herself from Biden. All voters knew was that they had more money in their pockets when Trump was in office than when she was. They never got to know who she was or what she stood for. How her campaign didn't force her to go on Joe Rogan will always baffle me. And in the end, she came across as phony, and funny enough, that was only solidified on election day with the video of her faking the phone call with her camera app still open. That from Keith. What about this? Johnny, you submit a flamethrower. You want to answer in the flamethrower? This is unprecedented. I like it.
I want to say that you're a boomer if you think that you can't have your camera app open while you're on the phone. That's all I'm going to say.
Boomer. What about from Michael, who says, Jespo, I loved your Friday and Monday's episodes around Remembrance Day. What about Marty Jones, the 99-year-old World War II vet? But that interview was too short, says Mike. I know, Marty had to go. He says, but the reason that got me to send this in, how the fuck do we only have 44 pilots in the Royal Canadian Air Force? That's ridiculous. A country of this size, 44? That was Lieutenant Colonel retired Laurie Hahn that gave us that number. Says we have a greatly depleted and diminished military, and it's absolutely embarrassing. Johnny, did you see the marching on Remembrance Day, that video
yes.
at West Edmonton Mall? Oh my gosh. He says, this 2% GDP to kick in for NATO, make it 5%, says Mike. Quit trying to appease the minority. I don't give a shit about making sure that... Okay, sexually curious rhinoceroses' interests are heard. He says, I'm just trying to do this for shock value, Mike, at work. He says, let's protect our country. We're on the verge of a water war. He says, our meth head cousins to the south are coming for our water. We need to protect ourselves, air, sea, and ground. Mike's predicting war with the U.S. I don't like our chances. What about this one from Dwayne, who says, closer to home, Danielle Smith and the UCP have not been doing anything good, or there's no right to warrant her getting the support she did at her leadership contest, or rather her leadership review. She's still intent on pursuing that Alberta provincial pension plan. Check out our yesterday's episode. And an Alberta provincial police force, which she intentionally left off the provincial election agenda to avoid seeing the UCP get defeated. Albertans still oppose these things. There's still no promised tax cut. Very large amounts of money are being wasted on costly debacles. The arena in Calgary, the Turkish Tylenol debacle, R-Star, a pointless excursion to Dubai, more coal mining companies suing the UCP for $10 billion for breaking contracts. The list of waste goes on and on. Public health care hasn't improved. Education hasn't improved. There's an affordability crisis in Alberta. Danielle Smith and her MLAs breaking conflict of interest laws and ethics rules. The UCP has not been a good government. Danielle Smith has not been a good premier, and I'm not buying this large approval rating. It is absolute, he quotes Joe Biden, malarkey. That from Dwayne. And how about Travis? $5 in the super chat says, thanks for enduring my pessimism. Buddy, that is a gift to this show. We love every single one of you that shows up and contributes to our chat. The show would be nothing without its audience, and that's why we do it for you every single weekday. We'll be back on Monday. Invite you in the meantime to tell your friends about this show. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, have a wonderful weekend. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.